This show today is brought to you by the good people at Miracle Food and ChocolateDoctor.org. Now, if you're looking to get into 2021 with a health plan, if you're looking to get healthier in 2021, I strongly suggest you go over to ChocolateDoctor.org and check out and try his product, Miracle Food. I am testimony that this product is absolutely unbelievable, good for the immune system to help, and a great way to reboot if you're looking to change your ways in 2021. Don't wait. Go to ChocolateDoctor.org. Tell them Viral Hip Hop News sent you. Let's go.
If you know the game, you around people who you typically be around on the streets. You just don't actually know that person.
Let's talk about current Vice President Kamala Harris and her role in your situation now. We've all been in a courtroom. We've all been pulled over by police. And no matter what we say, if we see a black person across from us, if we see a black judge or a black DA or a black cop even, a little piece of us is like, oh, shit, thank God. At least somebody knows who the fuck we're going through. 9 times out of 10, don't be the case, but that's what we kind of internally feel. So how did you feel when you seen at the time District Attorney Kamala Harris standing there during the most focal point or the most crucial points in your trial? And did you think at all, just in a little bit of sense, that she would kind of look you out because you guys look the same?
Well, at the beginning of everything, I knew that she was the head DA, right? So at that moment, yes, I felt like, okay, cool. I think that I don't believe that they're going to take me all the way to trial, you know what I mean, on what this one person said. And I was thinking, Kamala Harris has some sort of understanding that, one person can't prove a fact, especially when it comes down to a murder, you know what I mean, where you're going to wipe somebody's life all the way away. And then, you're talking about being, progressive. That's not progressive. That's some real down south type shit. I mean, some Texas type shit. That one person could send you to jail for the rest of your life. Now, I mean, and they could be lying. You know what I mean? Like in my case, you just don't know. How many times have you been, motherfucker, accuse you of stealing or something like that? Now, I mean, and they were just totally wrong. Like, and you didn't do it. That it's the same thing. People get accused for things that they just don't do. So at the beginning, I thought it was, I thought it'd have some type of weight, but ultimately it didn't, because she wasn't the one actually arguing the case, right? And that's what everybody say, oh, she didn't prosecute your case. Well, she prosecuted the case at the end of the day, because she has the opportunity to say, nah, you know what? You're not picking up that case, Linda Allen. No, throw it out. Bam, it's gone. You are the boss of this office. You delegate, and then my case is a big case. Any case in the city is a murder case is the biggest case in the office. You know what I mean? So with my name being as big as it was, and them using every way to use a news outlet to put this, I love New York, stunt, stick guy, who convicted from, murder and shit like that, whatever, man. They were using that as opportunity. Because, you got to look at it. At that time, she's going to be Attorney General. So I'm breaking all this politics shit down in my mind as I'm going through this shit. You know what I mean? We had a drug scandal at the time where hell of people went home because the drug lady in the drug lab was stealing the drugs and she was on drugs and all that. And then another case, Jamal Truelove, my guy who had got convicted off of what this one person said. And the person said at the preliminary hearing originally that he wasn't the shooter. He was with the shooter. And then at trial, she said he was the shooter. He get convicted, but the judge overturns his case because it's like, yo, I can't let this stay, because she said he wasn't. Then she's saying he was, gave him a retrial. Now, if they would have gave me a retrial too, even though I got newly discovered evidence, they would have said San Francisco is convicted the wrong people. Her whole campaign to be Attorney General would have went in the shambles. So, I feel like I got politicked out, but me seeing her when I got convicted, and when I got sentenced, and at the end of all of my paperwork, seeing that Kamala Harris stamp on her signature, and then when I go to my when I get convicted and go to the pen, I'm on my appeals, I'm fighting against the Attorney General's office. So now again, her name is on there again. You know, so it's like you know, I felt it was I don't think it was something like super direct personal just to me because I don't know that lady. But now at the same time, you know, accountability, you know, of something happening to, you know, people like, you know, like me and other people, you know, it's something that she should take, you know, and that's just, you know, my perspective of it.
Go ahead.
So now we fast forward to 2020 and we get the election and she's running for vice president. And I've seen videos that you, what is the word I'm looking for? You actually went for Kamala Harris as opposed to Donald Trump in the Republican Party. I was pretty surprised when I saw that given your situation. Why did you do that?
Well, the thing is, I mean, I was a Bernie Sanders guy. You know, that's who I wanted to win. You know what I mean? And you know, he didn't make it. So when Biden got the nomination, it's like, okay, because I mean, at the end of the day, I didn't vote for Kamala Harris. I voted for Joe Biden, and I really don't like neither one of them. I didn't like nobody. Like, you know, but what I wasn't gonna do is let the far right put me in this trick bag and use my story, you know, against them. You know what I mean? Because at that, and then I was, you know, to keep it buck, I was getting blackballed. I was getting blackballed. You know what I mean? Before she even got put in that position, so much of Hollywood backed her just as a black woman in general. You know what I mean? And that's cool and all, but when I was in Hollywood and I was, you know, taking my story here and there, and you know, I'm able to show and do all of these different things, and I got so much publicity, you know, and motherfuckers seemed like they was fucking with me, and next thing you know, it just like kind of fizzled through. And then some people that was even to the point of like, yeah, we're gonna tell you a story, fuck her, whatever it may be, and we're gonna do it in a, you know, a structural way. And to be honest, I never said nothing super negative about Kamala Harris. Like, she was the head DA, you know, in San Francisco. That's a fact. And her name was at the bottom of my what's name. That's a fact. Yes, she was in a position of power when the mistake was made or when the framing happened where I got convicted. So you knowing that, yes, you know, you should probably speak up on it a little bit and apologize to anybody. It don't gotta necessarily just be me. It could be anybody who'd have been done wrong, you know, under her watch. You know, she should give some type of apology, some type of acknowledgement that, you know, people make mistakes, you know, and just like that. That's all I ever said about her. But when it got to the point where she got nominated, well, she got brought in to be vice president, you know, I got so many phone calls and shit like that from my advisor, from other people saying like, yo, you're gonna have to cut, you know, you got to cut this funk or whatever you want to call it off of Kamala Harris because it could end up fucking up, you know, business, you know, investments and all of that shit. So, you know, and for me, I felt like I had to get ahead of it anyway, because if not, then, you know, there was the far right was gonna try to put me in a trick bag. Imagine a Donald Trump, you know, ad saying, "What about Jamal Truelove? Did you know what I mean? Come on now," and then it make it look like, you know, I'm rocking with them. Mm-hmm. So I had to get ahead of it, you know, and put my differences aside, which I did, and tell everybody that I was gonna go for, you know, Joe Biden, which subsequently, you know, puts Kamala Harris in office.
So did you outside of you, did you like get a chance to look at her record with other black people in the state? Did you like get a chance to look into that?
Yeah, absolutely. I know 5 people who convicted still right now in San Francisco. Been in 15 years already who didn't do it.
Damn.
15 years, and I know it. I'm fighting to get them home right now. It's at least 5 of them.
You know, what's your faith in politics now? The murder happens in 2007. You get convicted in 2010. You see a black DA. We have a black president at that time. You would assume that things would be a little different than we've dealt with historically, but it seemed like it was more the same even then and then now. So what's your faith looking at it now in politics, and how do you just perceive it all in general?
Well, politics, I try to stay away from politics for real. 2020 got me that much more into it. I didn't want to be this wrongful convicted motivational speaker and all of that shit, which, they try to pigeonhole me in, with coming home. They want me over here speaking. And typically they don't want to say, hey, we want to pay you to do this. They just want you to do it out the kindness of your heart and just tell your story, give you a platform. And, that's cool. I want to tell my story, which I typically do. But, I told it to the inner city, United Players. It takes the hood to say the hood. You know what I mean? Nonprofit organization, that I've always looked up to Rudy Cortez. That's my way of doing so. And then, whatever, change that I could make here in my city, I felt like that was something I had to do in 2020 because everything else was shut down. But I moved to LA to get away from this shit and to build a career. Like, I don't got no career. I didn't come up with having no opportunity. So now I got all opportunity. It's, it's on me to create, generational wealth for my kids. So my kids ain't never got to go through it, and they grandkids and my grandkids ain't got to go through it. And that's how I look at it. So, I did get into, a lot of the, politics in 2020. I pushed for Chesa Boudin to be head DA here in San Francisco. I like what he was doing, and I campaigned for him. And it was something like, how do you go and tell a nigga to vote for a DA when a DA is the enemy? Wow. And he had a plan so tough, and I wanted to impact my community and have my community understand, politics a little bit more. So when I told him, I said, hey, y'all know it's going to be a DA regardless. Don't you want it to be the right one? You need to get out and vote for the person that you think should be in there. Or we going to keep on, it's going to be a cycle of all these, historic prosecutors that's just been prosecuting forever. Chesa Boudin ain't never been a prosecutor. He's been a public defender. His parents didn't, had this some time. He was coming in with I'm about to do away with 3 strikes in San Francisco. No more gang enhancements. No more charging youth as minors as adults. No more, prosecuting prostitution and, small drug charges and, all of these different things. I'm like, hell yeah. And, and so I promoted that. And ultimately he got elected. And that was fucking dope as shit, to be a part of that. And I wanted to have that much more of a voice. So, I did jump into my activism, especially when COVID hit. I seen people in my community sharing bottles, still smoking blunts, thinking, that, black people don't get COVID. And, I teamed up with UCSF and started making hand sanitizer and, raising up money, putting some of my own money to get face masks and stuff like that into people that's in prisons. And then also to every black community in my city. Marshawn Lynch, locked on to us. He ended up donating this whole big old barrel of hand sanitizer, man. So that was dope as shit. Of course, I worked with United Players to do that. And then, George Floyd happened.